Hi guys, let's have some fun. Join me today as we dive into the genius creators who brought us the legendary anime and manga of the 1980s. Get ready for a fun quiz packed with interesting facts and discoveries. All right, let's get started. Three, two, one. Katsuhiro Otomo is a towering figure in both manga and anime, whose legacy has transcended Japanese borders to shape the global perception of animated storytelling. Born in 1954 in the quiet town of Tome, Miyagi, Otomo began his career in the 1970s, but would soon explode onto the scene with the release of Akira. First serialized as a manga in 1982 and later adapted into a genre-defining film in 1988. Akira introduced the world to Otomo's intricate, high-concept narratives set in dystopian post-apocalyptic futures. The film's visual fidelity, sweeping cityscapes, and groundbreaking animation techniques pushed the boundaries of what anime could achieve, both technically and thematically. But Otomo's creativity doesn't end with Akira. Before its success, he had already won acclaim with Domu, A Child's Dream, a psychological thriller about psychic warfare set in a Tokyo housing complex. The work not only won the Japan Sci-Fi Grand Prize, but also showed Otomo's knack for mixing realism with the supernatural, a signature that would recur throughout his career. Otomo's directorial efforts after Akira, like Memories, a triptych of stunning short films, and Steam Boy, a lavish steampunk epic, further showcased his versatility and ambition. His work often blends Western cinematic influences with deep-rooted Japanese anxieties about technology, war, and identity. He was the first manga artist to receive the Chevalier of the French Order of Arts and Letters, acknowledging his contributions to world culture. Otomo's impact on global pop culture is immense. Hollywood creators frequently cite Akira as a core influence, and his visual language continues to inspire artists, animators, and filmmakers worldwide. Otomo remains a quiet but potent force in the anime industry, and fans continue to await his next project with eager anticipation. Three, two, one. Yoshiyuki Tomino is a legendary figure in the world of Japanese animation, best known for revolutionizing the mecha genre. Born in 1941 in Kanagawa, Japan, he began his career at the pioneering Mushi production, founded by Osamu Tezuka, where he contributed to the iconic Astro Boy series. However, it was at Sunrise where Tomino would leave his most indelible mark by creating Mobile Suit Gundam in 1979. This groundbreaking series introduced a more grounded, war-centric perspective to giant robot anime, effectively giving birth to the real robot genre. Tomino's works are marked by philosophical depth, political intrigue, and psychological conflict. He often avoids clear-cut heroes and villains, opting instead to explore the tragedy of war and human ambition. This narrative approach, coupled with his notorious willingness to kill off beloved characters, earned him the nickname Kill 'Em All Tomino among fans. His darker storytelling can be seen in series like Space Runaway Ideon and Zeta Gundam, where the line between hero and anti-hero is deliberately blurred. Despite his grim reputation, Tomino has also delivered moments of hope and transcendence, particularly in works like Turn a Gundam, which aim to unify the many fragmented Gundam timelines. Beyond anime, he has authored several novels, including adaptations and expansions of his own series, and even penned lyrics for anime songs. Tomino remains an active and influential voice in the anime industry, with a legacy that spans over 5 decades. His ambition to treat anime as a serious narrative medium has helped elevate the art form, leaving an enduring impact on generations of creators and fans alike. Three, two, one. Akira Toriyama is one of the most influential figures in manga and anime history. Born in 1955 in Nagoya, he began his career as a manga artist in the late 1970s. His early comedic series Dr. Slump quickly made waves in the manga industry, introducing audiences to his distinctive art style, quirky humor, and inventive world-building. The series' success earned him the prestigious Shogakukan Manga Award and established Toriyama as a major creative force. However, it was with Dragon Ball that Toriyama would become a household name. Debuting in 1984, Dragon Ball began as a loose adaptation of the Chinese legend Journey to the West, but soon evolved into a martial arts epic that redefined the shonen genre. With its blend of humor, heart-pounding fights, memorable characters, and iconic transformations, the series captivated readers across generations and continents. Beyond manga, Toriyama left an indelible mark on the video game industry. As the character designer for Dragon Quest and Chrono Trigger, he helped shape the aesthetic of Japanese RPGs, giving them a friendly, recognizable look that became synonymous with the genre. His influence can still be seen in modern anime and gaming, where the structure and style of Dragon Ball continue to inspire creators. Despite his immense popularity, Toriyama was known for his private lifestyle, rarely giving interviews or public appearances. He preferred to let his work speak for itself, and it spoke volumes. Sadly, the world lost Akira Toriyama on March 1st, 2024, a moment that marked the end of an era. Yet his legacy is immortal. Millions still grow up with Dragon Ball, and his contributions remain foundational to modern pop culture, both in Japan and globally. Three, two, one. Masami Kurumada is one of the key pioneers of the shonen battle manga format. Born in Tokyo in 1953, he began his professional journey in the 1970s with Ring ni Kakero, a boxing manga that already showcased many of the themes that would define his later work: courage, perseverance, brotherhood, and explosive action. His style stood out for its bold characters and fierce, often honor-bound rivalries. Kurumada reached international fame with Saint Seiya, a manga that revolutionized the genre by merging Greek mythology with high-stakes tournament battles. The story of 5 young warriors donning mystical armors to defend the reincarnation of the goddess Athena struck a powerful chord worldwide. The anime adaptation, produced by Toei Animation, became especially popular in France, Italy, Brazil, and Mexico, turning Saint Seiya into a global phenomenon. Beyond Saint Seiya, Kurumada continued to develop manga that emphasized the warrior spirit, whether through sword fighting, Fuma no Kujiro, or sci-fi, Beat X. His protagonists are often tough, noble-hearted young men who believe in fighting for justice, a style heavily influenced by traditional, manly manga aesthetics from the 60s and 70s. Kurumada's works not only shaped a generation of readers, but also laid the groundwork for later creators. The concept of characters with individualized armor and cosmic powers can be traced forward through series like Yu-Gi-Oh!, Bleach, and even Naruto. Despite his relatively limited portfolio compared to some contemporaries, each of his series carries a distinct authorial voice and thematic consistency that continues to resonate with fans worldwide. Three, two, one. Behind the pen, named Burnson, lies Yoshiyuki Okamura, a prolific and impactful manga writer who helped redefine the landscape of 1980s Japanese manga. Known primarily as the co-creator of Fist of the North Star, Bjornsson brought a gritty, hyper-masculine aesthetic to shonen and seinen manga that left a lasting mark on the medium. His pseudonym pays homage to American actor Charles Bronson, a fitting choice given the hard-boiled nature of his protagonists, stoic, muscular, and guided by an unshakable sense of justice. This tone permeates his best-known work, Fist of the North Star, which debuted in 1983 and quickly became a pop culture juggernaut. story, set in a Mad Max-like wasteland, follows Kenshiro, a lone martial artist who metes out brutal justice using the deadly Hokuto Shinken technique. The manga's catchphrase, "You are already dead," became iconic worldwide. Burnson's strength lies in his storytelling. He crafts intense emotional narratives filled with vengeance, loyalty, and redemption. While Fist of the North Star made him a legend among action fans, his later works, like Sanctuary, a political crime thriller with artist Ryoichi Ikegami, and Heat, another gritty urban drama, proved that he could handle more sophisticated and grounded stories just as masterfully. A former member of Japan's self-defense forces, Björnson's disciplined background adds a distinct realism to his otherwise dramatic stories. He rarely illustrates his own work, but is consistently paired with powerful artists who bring his gritty worlds to life. His contributions helped evolve manga into a darker, more adult form of entertainment during the late Showa era, influencing generations of creators from Kentaro Miura to Hiroshi Takashige. Tetsuo Hara is one of the most iconic manga illustrators of the 1980s, known for his dynamic, cinematic, and muscle-packed artwork. Born in Tokyo in 1961, Hara rose to fame as the co-creator and artist behind Fist of the North Star, a series that would become a global symbol of testosterone-fueled manga storytelling. Paired with writer Björnson, Hara brought Kenshiro and his apocalyptic world to vivid life. The series was a game-changer, not only for its brutal martial arts action, but also for its artistic intensity. Hara's signature style features towering, anatomically exaggerated characters, ultra-dramatic expressions, and action sequences that often resemble Hollywood movie stills. His panel compositions give the feeling of watching a high-stakes war drama unfold one punch at a time. Hara's early influence from Bruce Lee and American action films is unmistakable. Kenshiro himself is modeled on Lee's physique and stoicism, but Hara added his own unique flair, emphasizing emotional gravitas and suffering in his visual storytelling. The line, "Omae wa mu shinderu," "You are already dead," is not just a catchphrase. It's an example of how image and words merged perfectly under his hand. After Fist of the North Star, Hara continued to evolve his craft. He delved into historical fiction with Keiji, bringing the exploits of samurai Maeda Keiji to life, and later returned to the Hokuto no Ken universe with Fist of the Blue Sky, a prequel set in 1930s Shanghai. These works confirmed his versatility beyond the post-apocalyptic genre. Despite ongoing struggles with his vision, Hara remains an active creator and an influential figure in the manga industry. He co-founded Comics in 2000, a company aimed at supporting mature manga narratives and giving authors more creative freedom. His legacy is imprinted not just in manga, but in anime, games, and the very language of modern shonen storytelling. Three, two, one. Rumiko Takahashi is one of the most celebrated and successful manga creators in history, a true icon whose career has spanned over 4 decades. Born in Niigata in 1957, she entered the manga world in the late 1970s with a unique voice, blending heartfelt romance, sharp humor, and quirky supernatural elements. Her breakout hit, Urusei Yatsura, introduced readers to an alien girl in a tiger-striped bikini and a universe of absurdity and charm. It redefined comedic manga with its eccentric tone and rapid-fire gags. But Takahashi wasn't content with just slapstick. She moved into mature romantic drama with Maison Ikoku, showcasing her gift for emotional nuance and long-form character arcs. Then came Ranma 1/2, a wild martial arts gender bender that became a global phenomenon. It mixed chaotic humor, cultural satire, and constant romantic tension, all illustrated in Takahashi's deceptively simple but expressive style. She followed with Inuyasha, an epic historical fantasy that captivated an entirely new generation, especially international fans through its anime adaptation. What makes Takahashi's work special is her consistency and innovation. She's a master of weaving romantic entanglements, spiritual folklore, and screwball scenarios into coherent, emotionally resonant stories. Her characters, whether time-traveling priestesses or shape-shifting martial artists, are always deeply human, flawed, and unforgettable. Despite enormous commercial and critical success, including multiple international awards and over 200 million manga volumes sold, Takahashi has stayed remarkably grounded. She avoids the spotlight and keeps a low public profile, letting her stories speak for her. In a male-dominated industry, Takahashi carved out a legacy of her own, with wit, warmth, and discipline. She is a pillar of manga history, and her work continues to influence new artists across genres and borders. Three, two, one. Three, two, one. Tsukasa Hojo is a master of urban storytelling, combining hard-boiled detective drama, romantic tension, and sharp comedy into sleek, unforgettable manga. Born in 1959 in Fukuoka Prefecture, Hojo initially studied technical drafting, a discipline that shows in his meticulous backgrounds and architectural details. But it was his love for expressive storytelling that pushed him toward manga. His first big success came with Cat's Eye, a stylish tale of three sisters who moonlight as art thieves. Blending charm, mystery, and action, it quickly captured the imagination of readers and became one of the earliest female-led shonen successes. But it was City Hunter that solidified Hojo's status as a legend. The story of Ryo Saiba, an eccentric, lecherous, yet noble sweeper who takes on dangerous jobs in Tokyo's underworld, brought together hard-hitting action, hilarious misunderstandings, and poignant human drama. Ryo and his partner Kaori became one of manga's most iconic duos, with their evolving relationship providing emotional weight to the high-paced plots. Hojo's works are deeply cinematic, often inspired by Hollywood action movies and film noir. Yet they maintain a uniquely Japanese sensitivity, especially in his portrayals of loyalty, loss, and love. His artwork is crisp, realistic, and full of personality, and he's known for drawing exceptionally expressive and strong-willed women. Later, Hojo created Angel Heart, a spin-off of City Hunter that explores grief, identity, and redemption through the lens of a young female assassin who receives Kaori's heart after her tragic death in that universe. The emotional depth of this work shows Hojo's range and maturity as an author. Though less internationally famous than some of his peers, Hojo has a devoted fan base and a long-lasting legacy. His characters live on not only in manga and anime, but in musical adaptations, dramas, and global cinema. He remains one of the most stylish and emotionally intelligent storytellers in the world of Japanese comics. Three, two, one. Haruka Takachiho is a visionary figure in the world of Japanese science fiction. Born in 1951 in Nagoya, he came of age during a time when Japan's pop culture was evolving into a global force, and he helped shape its future from behind the scenes. A writer, producer, and founding member of the influential Studio Nue, Takachiho's creative fingerprint is embedded in some of the most iconic sci-fi franchises to come out of Japan. His literary debut, Crusher Joe, blended spacefaring adventure with morally gray characters and hard science fiction. But it was Dirty Pair, his most famous creation, that truly captured international imagination. The series followed Kei and Yuri, two glamorous, trigger-happy troubleshooters known as the Lovely Angels, who tend to leave massive destruction in their wake. The idea stemmed from a joke about professional wrestling stars, but evolved into one of the most beloved franchises in anime history. What set Takachiho apart was his ability to fuse fast-paced space action with comedic absurdity and surprisingly deep character moments. Dirty Pair became a massive hit, not just in Japan, but also in Western countries, thanks to its stylish animation and strong female leads, something still rare at the time. As a founding member of Studio Nue, Takachiho didn't just write, he helped conceptualize and shape titles like Super Dimension Fortress Macross, bridging literary storytelling with visual innovation. His collaborations with illustrators and designers allowed his stories to thrive across media, influencing manga, anime, and even video games. Although more recognized in sci-fi literary circles than in mainstream pop culture, Haruka Takachiho's legacy is immense. He helped pioneer a distinctly Japanese form of space opera, colorful, emotional, and explosively creative. His writing helped redefine what science fiction could be, both in Japan and abroad. Three, two, one. Yoshihiro Takahashi is a manga artist unlike most of his contemporaries. While many creators built worlds of human warriors, Takahashi chose dogs as his heroes, crafting sweeping sagas of loyalty, bravery, and survival. Born in rural Akita in 1953, he grew up surrounded by nature and animals, which deeply influenced his artistic path. His most iconic work, Ginga, Negaraboshi Gin, began serialization in the early 1980s and quickly became a cult phenomenon. The story of a bear-hunting dog who rallies a pack of wild dogs to fight against evil resonated with readers for its raw emotion and epic tone. Takahashi's animals weren't just pets or mascots. They were fully realized characters, complete with honor codes, generational traumas, and moral struggles. Over the decades, Takahashi expanded this universe with sequels like Ginga, Densetsu Weed, Orion, and Noah, forming a multi-generational family saga that rivals any human drama in scale. His anthropomorphic storytelling borrowed the emotional gravity of classic samurai cinema and transposed it into the wild, with packs of dogs battling for justice, territory, and kinship. One of the most surprising aspects of his career is his massive popularity in Scandinavia, particularly Finland and Sweden, where his Ginga series was translated and embraced with near-religious fervor. Takahashi has visited these countries several times, receiving rock-star treatment from fans who see Gin and Weed as cultural icons. Yoshihiro Takahashi's dedication to storytelling through animal protagonists makes him a unique voice in the manga industry. With compelling visuals, intense narratives, and emotionally resonant themes, his works continue to inspire loyalty among fans around the globe, just like the heroic dogs he draws. Warming up? The real challenge begins now. Go! Three, two, one. Ryusuke Takahashi stands among the legendary creators who shaped the identity of mecha anime during the 1980s, yet his contribution was markedly distinct. He brought a sense of realism, emotional complexity, and ethical ambiguity that few others dared explore. Born in Tokyo in 1943, Takahashi emerged during a time when science fiction in anime was growing into its own. While many fans recognize him for Armored Trooper Votoms, his legacy spans far beyond a single series. With Fang of the Sun Dogram, he helped lay the foundations of the real robot genre, where machines are less superweapons and more like tanks. Tools of war governed by political agendas and human frailty. Takahashi's protagonists are not chosen ones or saviors, but traumatized soldiers, desperate rebels, or disillusioned veterans fighting for survival or justice in morally gray worlds. What sets Takahashi apart is his insistence on portraying the psychological toll of conflict. His stories do not glamorize war. Instead, they explore its cost, physically, mentally, and ethically. Series like Blue Gender delve into apocalyptic despair, while Flag took the bold step of framing war through the lens of a photojournalist, utilizing a faux documentary format that was revolutionary in anime storytelling at the time. Takahashi's collaboration with renowned mechanical designer Kunio Okawara resulted in some of the most iconic mecha designs outside of the Gundam franchise. While never as mainstream as Gundam, Votoms earned cult status due to its stripped-down, brutal realism and deeply human storytelling. Today, Ryusuke Takahashi is revered not just for his world-building or mechanical spectacles, but for pushing anime to confront the darker, often uncomfortable truths of war. His work remains essential viewing for anyone who wants to understand the evolution of anime as a medium for mature, thought-provoking narratives. Three, two, one. Takao Saito wasn't just a mangaka. He was a pioneer who reshaped the very language of Japanese comics. Born in 1936 in Wakayama, Saito grew up during the post-war years and soon became a key figure in the emergence of Gekiga, a genre of adult-oriented manga focused on realism, drama, and often grim cinematic storytelling. His magnum opus, Golgo 13, is nothing short of legendary. First serialized in 1968, the manga follows the exploits of Duke Togo, an enigmatic assassin known as Golgo 13, who takes on high-risk missions around the world. The series is infamous for its astonishing attention to detail, from military weaponry and tactics to international politics and espionage. Each story arc reads like a self-contained thriller, echoing the sophistication of Cold War spy novels. But Saito's vision extended beyond narrative. He revolutionized the manga industry by establishing Saito Production, a studio system that allowed a team of assistants and specialists to work collaboratively on different aspects of the manga: storyboarding, inking, backgrounds, freeing Saito to focus on the core creative direction. This production model was revolutionary in Japan and helped sustain Golgo 13's uninterrupted weekly serialization for decades. A staunch believer in the literary value of mature manga, Saito rejected the blanket label manga in favor of Gekiga, aligning his work more with adult fiction than children's entertainment. This ideological stance influenced countless artists, including Ryoichi Ikegami and Kazuo Koike. Even after his death in 2021, Golgo 13 continues under his studio's guidance, as per his explicit instructions. This act speaks volumes of his planning, vision, and desire to leave a living legacy, one of the few manga creators whose work has transcended generations without losing its gritty, grounded relevance. Takao Saito was not just telling stories. He was documenting the dark, complex world through the lens of an ever-uncompromising anti-hero. His work remains a cornerstone of seinen manga and a testament to the power of realism and discipline in storytelling. Three, two, one. Three, two, one. Hideyuki Kikuchi stands as one of Japan's most visionary and prolific masters of horror and dark fantasy. Born in 1949 in Choshi, Chiba, Kikuchi began his writing career under the tutelage of Kazuo Koike, the legendary creator of Lone Wolf and Cub. With a flair for the grotesque and a love for gothic ambience, Kikuchi carved out a unique space in Japanese speculative fiction. His most iconic creation is Vampire Hunter D, a sprawling series of novels that began in 1983 and continues to this day. Set in a far-future post-apocalyptic world where vampires, mutants, and supernatural horrors roam freely, the series follows D, a Dhampir, half-human, half-vampire, bounty hunter of ethereal beauty and deadly skill. The novels, paired with the atmospheric illustrations of Yoshitaka Amano, gave rise to a cult following both in Japan and internationally. Kikuchi's genius lies in his ability to synthesize East and West, His stories often resemble European Gothic horror, infused with Japanese philosophical undertones. His vampires are not just monsters, but tragic immortals haunted by love, loneliness, and the crumbling ruins of a decadent society. He made the horror genre sophisticated, literary, and seductively stylish. Beyond Vampire Hunter D, Kikuchi penned numerous other successful novels and series, such as Wicked City, a tale of interdimensional horrors and a noirish intrigue, and Demon City Shinjuku, where urban Japan becomes a battleground between supernatural forces. Despite rarely appearing in public, Kikuchi's legacy echoes loudly in anime, manga, film, and even Western pop culture. His influence can be felt in everything from Castlevania to Hellsing, and his stories continue to inspire adaptations, sequels, and spin-offs decades after their original publication. With over 100 novels to his name, Hideyuki Kikuchi remains a towering figure in Japanese genre fiction, a master craftsman of dread, decadence, and darkly beautiful worlds. Three, two, one. Yoichi Takahashi is more than a manga artist. He is a cultural architect who helped shape modern Japan's passion for soccer. Born in 1960 in Tokyo, Takahashi revolutionized the landscape of sports manga with Captain Tsubasa, his breakout work that debuted in 1981. At a time when baseball dominated Japanese youth culture, Captain Tsubasa introduced the drama, elegance, and passion of football to an entire generation. Inspired by the 1978 FIFA World Cup in Argentina, Takahashi combined the high-energy dynamics of shonen storytelling with stylized, almost acrobatic soccer moves that defied physics but captured hearts. His protagonist, Tsubasa Ozora, wasn't just a player, he was the embodiment of hope, teamwork, and perseverance. The manga didn't just entertain, it created a movement. Soccer fields in Japan filled with children imitating Tsubasa's drive shots and Hyuga's tiger shots. What's more, the influence crossed borders. In Brazil, France, Spain, and especially in Latin America, Captain Tsubasa became a cult phenomenon. International stars like Lionel Messi, Zinedine Zidane, and Andres Iniesta have publicly declared their love for the series. Takahashi continued to expand the Captain Tsubasa universe for decades, chronicling Tsubasa's journey from school tournaments to global championships. Through his evolving series, World Youth, Road to 2002, Golden 23, Rising Sun, he showed the lifelong path of an athlete, inspiring readers of all ages. Outside the manga world, Takahashi became an ambassador for soccer. He worked with the Japan Football Association and even contributed to designing uniforms for Olympic athletes. His contribution to sports and pop culture was cemented when his characters were immortalized with statues in his hometown. Yoichi Takahashi's work remains a cornerstone of global manga history and a testament to how fiction can drive real-world dreams. His pen gave rise not only to legendary characters, but to future champions on real-life fields. Three, two, one. Leiji Matsumoto was not merely a manga artist, he was a cosmic philosopher with a pen. Born Akira Matsumoto in 1938, his vision of the stars and humanity's place among them came to define generations of Japanese science fiction. His career spanned more than 6 decades, during which he crafted sprawling interstellar odysseys populated by tragic heroes, haunting melodies of space, and reflections on time, memory, and the human soul. Matsumoto gained early recognition with short stories and war-themed manga, but it was Space Battleship Yamato that launched him into anime legend. Reimagining Japan's World War II battleship as a spaceship carrying the last hope of humanity, Matsumoto offered both catharsis and hope in post-war Japan. The emotional depth and operatic tone of Yamato revolutionized how anime approached mature storytelling. Galaxy Express 999 followed shortly after, a poetic tale of a young boy boarding a train that travels through space, searching for immortality and self-understanding. It blended surreal imagery, adventure, and existential questions, all underscored by Matsumoto's elegant, flowing line work and timeless character designs. Then came Captain Harlock, the stoic space pirate who stands against authoritarianism and apathy. Harlock became an international symbol of rebellion and honor, with his cape fluttering in the vacuum of space like a romantic echo of classical literature. Leiji Matsumoto was also ahead of his time in multimedia collaboration. In 2003, he stunned a new generation when he teamed up with Daft Punk for Interstellar 5555, the animated music video for their album Discovery. Matsumoto's visuals matched perfectly with the electronic soundtrack, forming an unforgettable fusion of music and anime. Despite his intergalactic focus, Matsumoto never lost touch with humanism. War, loss, sacrifice, and love remained at the heart of all his stories. He created interconnected worlds, a Leijiverse, where characters cross dimensions and timelines, often reflecting on fate and duty. Honored with global awards, including France's prestigious Ordre des Arts et des Lettres, Matsumoto passed away in 2023, leaving behind a universe still traveling through the stars. His legacy is not only in his epic sagas, but in the dreams he planted across galaxies, in paper, pixels, and hearts. Three, two, one. Yoshiki Tanaka is one of Japan's most respected literary architects of political science fiction and historical fantasy. Born in 1952 in Kumamoto, he studied Japanese literature with a passion for Chinese classics, a scholarly background that would later inform the ideological and philosophical depth of his fiction. Tanaka is less prolific in terms of total volume than some of his contemporaries, but his major works have had an outsized influence on Japanese storytelling. His magnum opus is Legend of the Galactic Heroes, Law, a sweeping interstellar chronicle that pits the monarchic galactic empire against the democratic Free Planets Alliance in a saga of war, diplomacy, ideology, and human ambition. What sets Log apart is not only its space battles, but its razor-sharp political commentary and memorable dialogue. Each character, from the aristocratic genius Reinhard von Lohengrin to the reluctant historian-turned-admiral Yang Wenli, embodies a philosophy about leadership, governance, and morality. The original novel series stretched over 10 volumes and was adapted into one of the longest-running and most critically praised anime series ever. Tanaka's work stands at the crossroads of historical reflection and futuristic speculation. The heroic legend of Arslan mirrors ancient Persia and combines military campaigns with questions of legitimacy, loyalty, and reform. Meanwhile, Soryuden channels mythological dragons into a modern fantasy full of Chinese lore and political undercurrents. His unique touch is visible in how he transforms classic literary and historical themes into gripping speculative fiction. While he may not be a household name globally, those who discover his stories often compare him to Isaac Asimov or Frank Herbert in terms of narrative complexity and intellectual scope. Though reclusive and sparing in public appearances, Tanaka's voice continues to echo through the anime adaptations of his novels and the manga reinterpretations by top artists. His legacy lies in offering a rare blend of strategy, sociology, and storytelling that challenges readers to think as much as to dream. Three, two, one. Shoji Kawamori is a true polymath in the world of anime, a creator who combines storytelling, mechanical design, and conceptual vision in ways that have profoundly shaped the mecha genre. Born in 1960 in Toyama, Japan, Kawamori was fascinated by space exploration and science fiction from a young age, influences that would define his career. He rose to prominence in the early 1980s as a founding member of Studio Nue, and one of the masterminds behind the Super Dimension Fortress Macross. More than just a sci-fi series, Macross revolutionized anime by integrating love triangles, pop music, and space battles with transforming fighter jets, vehicles that Kawamori himself designed. His Valkyrie jets didn't just look futuristic, they were engineering marvels that became cultural icons. One of his most famous creations, the VF-1 Valkyrie, would later influence the Transformers character Jetfire, linking Kawamori's vision to Western pop culture. Kawamori's talent lies not only in the aesthetic and technical design of mecha, but in his conceptual storytelling. He treats machines as more than tools. They are extensions of character, culture, and emotion. In Vision of Escaflowne, he shifted from sci-fi to fantasy, but retained the same attention to thematic depth and visual innovation. With Macross Plus and Macross Frontier, he further blended digital animation, artificial intelligence, and idol culture, long before such combinations became mainstream. His personal interests in spirituality and environmentalism seep into his more experimental works like Arjuna, which tackles the delicate balance between humanity and nature. Even in more commercial ventures, he remains committed to philosophical undertones. Despite being most famous for anime, Kawamori's influence extends into video games, Armored Core, Xenogears, merchandise design, and even toy engineering. His work is the backbone of an entire genre, and his fingerprints are on everything from the Transformers franchise to modern multimedia anime production. Few figures in anime can claim to have both revolutionized mechanical design and told deeply human stories. Shoji Kawamori does both, seamlessly. Three, two, one. Mitsuru Adachi stands as one of the most beloved and enduring figures in the world of manga, particularly for fans of sports and slice-of-life stories. Born in 1951 in Gunma Prefecture, Adachi debuted as a professional manga artist in the 1970s and quickly established a niche that he has made uniquely his own. While many manga authors chase high-stakes action and fantastical worlds, Adachi finds drama and depth in the everyday. On the baseball field, in school hallways, or during quiet conversations between siblings and friends. His breakout success came with Touch, a baseball and romance manga that captivated an entire generation in the 1980s. Rather than relying on explosive games or flashy characters, Touch explored the emotional currents beneath competition, family bonds, and young love. The story's heartbreaking twist and its nuanced treatment of loss and growth left a lasting impression on readers. The series sold over 100 million copies and remains one of the most critically acclaimed manga of all time. Adachi's follow-up works, such as H2, Rough, Cross Game, and Mix, reaffirmed his mastery of emotional storytelling through sports. While baseball is his most frequent backdrop, it's never just about the game. For Adachi, sports are metaphors for adolescence, dreams, disappointment, and resilience. He skillfully blends comedy, melancholy, and romance, often letting silences or facial expressions do the emotional heavy lifting. His art style, minimalist yet expressive, allows readers to focus on characters' internal lives. He is also known for playfully reusing character designs across different series, a kind of personal signature that fans have come to recognize with affection. Despite the recurring themes, siblings, unspoken feelings, early loss, each story feels fresh, carried by his refined pacing and emotional clarity. Adachi's influence is immense, though quiet. Unlike more bombastic manga giants, his legacy lies in emotional honesty, subtle tension, and the deeply relatable human experience. His ability to make readers care deeply about quiet moments and long silences is what makes his work timeless. Three, two, one. Toshimichi Suzuki may not be a household name outside of hardcore gaming and anime circles, but within the world of Japanese fighting games, he is recognized as a true innovator. Best known as the mind behind BlazBlue, Suzuki helped redefine what a fighting game could be. Not just a platform for stylish combat, but a stage for rich, complex storytelling. Born in 1967, Suzuki began his creative career with a deep passion for narrative and aesthetics. While working at Arc System Works, he initially contributed to the early Guilty Gear projects before branching out into what would become his magnum opus, BlazBlue. This franchise, while built on traditional arcade-style combat, stood out for its dense plot, elaborate character backstories, and unique mythos. Rather than tacking on a shallow plot, Suzuki infused BlazBlue with layered timelines, existential themes, and philosophical references, creating a hybrid of fighting game and visual novel that was unprecedented in the genre. The vocabulary and concepts Suzuki created for BlazBlue, such as Ars Magus, Boundary Interface, and Azure Grimoire, became iconic among fans. The narrative's complexity earned the series comparisons to anime like Neon Genesis Evangelion and Serial Experiments Lain, and its characters achieved cult status. The series also pushed visual boundaries, being one of the first to adopt high-resolution 2D aesthetics in fighting games, setting a new artistic benchmark. Beyond BlazBlue, Suzuki also contributed to X-Blaze, a visual novel that further expanded the universe he built, and Phantom Breaker, reinforcing his reputation as a world builder and scenario specialist. Following his departure from Arc System Works, Suzuki founded Kagura Games, reaffirming his commitment to narrative-centric interactive media. He continues to explore new ways to merge gameplay with emotionally engaging storytelling, proving that even within action-heavy formats, depth and complexity have a firm place. Suzuki's legacy is not just the games he created, but the way he reimagined an entire genre. In an era where fast-paced mechanics often overshadow plot, he reminded the industry that story matters and that fighting games can move hearts as well as hands. Kenichi Sonoda is a cult icon among anime and manga fans who love action, muscle cars, and intricately detailed handguns. His body of work has carved out a niche that blends the gritty realism of Western noir with the stylistic flair of 1980s and 1990s anime. Born in 1962 in Kumamoto, Japan, Sonoda came to prominence in the animation world through his character designs for Bubblegum Crisis and Gall Force, two titles that defined the cyberpunk aesthetic in late 1980s anime. But it was as a manga creator that he truly made his mark. With Riding Bean and especially Gunsmith Cats, Sonoda introduced audiences to tough, capable female protagonists in a world of illegal arms deals, car chases, and shootouts, often set against the backdrop of an almost obsessively researched Chicago. Sonoda's signature is precision. His depiction of American vehicles and firearms isn't just stylish, it's accurate, almost journalistic. Readers of Gunsmith Cats often marvel at how a Japanese artist could recreate the streets of Illinois or the operation of a Sig Sauer pistol with such fidelity. The answer? Sonoda is a gun enthusiast and gearhead himself. He's visited the US to study American firearms firsthand and even practiced shooting to make his action scenes more realistic. But beyond the hardware, what truly distinguishes Sonoda is his affection for the genre. Gunsmith Cats isn't just about violence, it's about camaraderie, tension, rhythm, and personality. His characters, Raleigh Vincent, Minnie Mae Hopkins, and Bean Bandit, are memorable, larger than life, yet grounded by flaws and quirks that make them human. After a break from the spotlight, Sonoda returned to his beloved world with Gunsmith Cats. First, proving his enduring relevance and dedication to his creations. Outside of manga, he has also been active in his community, even pursuing a political role in his hometown of Kumamoto. In an industry often dominated by fantasy or sci-fi, Kenichi Sonoda's commitment to action realism and love for American pop culture have made him a singular voice, one that speaks to gearheads, action fans, and lovers of cool, stylish storytelling. Keep going. Your anime knowledge is being tested. Go. Three, two, one. Masami Obari is a legend in the anime industry, a dynamo of dynamic design and high-octane animation whose name is synonymous with visual style. From his early beginnings in the 1980s, to his iconic work on mecha and action anime, Obari has built a reputation as one of the most flamboyant and passionate creators in the field. Born in Hiroshima in 1966, Obari was already animating professionally as a teenager. He entered the world of robot anime with a work on Dankuga and quickly became known for his sharp mechanical design sense. But what really set him apart was his ability to inject kinetic energy into everything he touched. His mecha often bristle with exaggerated proportions, glowing weapons, and impossible camera angles, yet somehow they move with grace and power. The now famous Obari pose, a crouched, charging stance used by many robots and fighters, has become a hallmark of action animation, emulated by artists and fans alike. Obari's work isn't just about cool robots. He has a flair for high-stakes combat, emotional showdowns, and visual spectacle. In projects like Detonator Organ, Gravian, and the Super Robot Wars cutscenes, he shows his mastery over both mechanical and human animation. Even his work in Fatal Fury, the motion picture, and the Viper OVAs, more adult in tone, displays his signature. Detailed shading, polished coloring, and charged choreography. He's not just an artist, he's also a director and studio head. With Studio G-1 and later G-1 Neo, Obari created a space where animators could push the limits of their skills and visual ideas. His passion for anime is evident in every project he leads, and his openness to both serious storytelling and over-the-top fan service has made him a versatile and beloved figure. Masami Obari remains a cult figure among fans of robot anime, fighting games, and stylish animation. His influence spans from Bubblegum Crisis to Super Robot Wars, and he continues to contribute to the evolution of anime aesthetics. One punch, one laser cannon, one dramatic pose at a time. Three, two, one. Hiroyuki Yamaga is not a prolific director in terms of quantity, but in terms of influence and innovation, he is a towering figure in anime history. Best known for directing Royal Space Force, The Wings of Oneamise. At just 24 years old, Yamaga was part of the original creative explosion that birthed Studio Gainax, arguably one of the most artistically ambitious studios of the 1980s and 1990s. Born in Niigata in 1962, Yamaga's creative path began with independent fan projects, most famously the Daikon 3 and Daikon 4 opening animations, works that already displayed his and his team's hunger for pushing boundaries. These fan films would eventually lead to the formal founding of Gainax, a studio that would come to define an entire generation of anime. Royal Space Force, Yamaga's magnum opus, was a massive departure from conventional anime storytelling. Rather than rely on tropes or mecha spectacle, the film focused on world building, political intricacies, and the philosophical evolution of its main character. With its richly imagined setting and thematic ambition, it proved that anime could aim for and reach cinematic artistry. Though it wasn't a huge commercial hit at the time, it has since become a cult classic and a turning point in the history of animated film. Yamaga later directed lighter works like Mahoromatic and Abenobashi, blending comedy with heartfelt storytelling and meta-commentary, showing his range beyond epic science fiction. He also played a producer role in the much-loved Gurren Lagann, continuing his mentorship of younger creators at Gainax. Though Gainax eventually declined in influence, with many talents moving on to form Studio Trigger and other ventures, Yamaga has remained a vocal and respected figure in the anime community. His appearances at festivals and conventions often focus on anime as cultural commentary, with him advocating for deeper artistic value in the medium. Hiroyuki Yamaga is an artist of vision and conviction, one who believes that anime can speak not just to otaku, but to the world. Three, two, one. Hideyuki Kikuchi stands as one of Japan's most visionary and prolific masters of horror and dark fantasy, Born in 1949 in Choshi, Chiba, Kikuchi began his writing career under the tutelage of Kazuo Koike, the legendary creator of Lone Wolf and Cub. With a flair for the grotesque and a love for gothic ambience, Kikuchi carved out a unique space in Japanese speculative fiction. His most iconic creation is Vampire Hunter D, a sprawling series of novels that began in 1983 and continues to this day. Set in a far-future post-apocalyptic world where vampires, mutants, and supernatural horrors roam freely, the series follows D, a Dhampir, half-human, half-vampire, bounty hunter of ethereal beauty and deadly skill. The novels, paired with the atmospheric illustrations of Yoshitaka Amano, gave rise to a cult following both in Japan and internationally. Kikuchi's genius lies in his ability to synthesize East and West. His stories often resemble European Gothic horror, infused with Japanese philosophical undertones. His vampires are not just monsters, but tragic immortals haunted by love, loneliness, and the crumbling ruins of a decadent society. He made the horror genre sophisticated, literary, and seductively stylish. Beyond Vampire Hunter D, Kikuchi penned numerous other successful novels and series, such as Wicked City, a tale of interdimensional horrors and noirish intrigue, and Demon City Shinjuku, where urban Japan becomes a battleground between supernatural forces. Despite rarely appearing in public, Kikuchi's legacy echoes loudly in anime, manga, film, and even Western pop culture. His influence can be felt in everything from Castlevania to Hellsing, and his stories continue to inspire adaptations, sequels, and spin-offs decades after their original publication. With over 100 novels to his name, Hideyuki Kikuchi remains a towering figure in Japanese genre fiction, a master craftsman of dread, decadence, and darkly beautiful worlds. Three, two, one. Masamune Shirow is a legend in the manga and science fiction realms, revered for his visionary approach to cyberpunk storytelling and mechanical design. Born Masanori Ota in Kobe, he adopted the pseudonym Masamune Shirow, possibly in tribute to the famous Japanese swordsmith. An apt metaphor for the precision and sharpness of his work. Shirow first gained prominence in the 1980s with Appleseed, a manga that combined political intrigue, military technology, and philosophical musings in a dystopian future. Its success paved the way for what would become his magnum opus, Ghost in the Shell. This groundbreaking manga explored the blurred lines between humanity and machine, identity, consciousness, and the evolution of society in a cybernetic future. Its 1995 anime adaptation, directed by Mamoru Oshii, cemented its place in the global sci-fi canon and inspired iconic Western works, including the Matrix trilogy. What sets Shirow apart is his extraordinary attention to detail, whether it's the intricacies of cybernetic implants, high-tech weaponry, or socio-political systems in his imagined worlds. He isn't just telling stories, he's building functioning futures. Interestingly, despite his global fame, Shirow has maintained a near-total absence from public life. He rarely gives interviews, seldom appears at conventions, and has built a mystique around his identity and process. Some fans even joke that he's as much of a ghost as the ones in his stories. In the 2000s, Shirow transitioned away from serialized manga to focus on digital and erotic sci-fi illustration, creating a number of art book series, blending fantasy, sensuality, and futuristic design. Though these works differ in tone, they showcase his ongoing fascination with the human form and technology. Shirow's legacy is immense. Through only a handful of major works, he reshaped both manga and anime, introduced the world to cyberpunk from a distinctly Japanese lens, and raised the bar for speculative fiction. In doing so, he helped legitimize manga as serious literature and science fiction as philosophy. Three, two, one. Buichi Terasawa was not just a manga artist. He was a visual futurist, a digital pioneer, and one of the rare creators whose influence reached far beyond Japan's borders. Born in 1955 in the snowy city of Asahikawa, Terasawa's career took off after he joined Osamu Tezuka's legendary animation studio. There, he learned the fundamentals of visual storytelling from the god of manga himself. But Terasawa quickly carved his own path, blending traditional manga storytelling with stylistic cues from Western comics and a flair for space-age futurism. His breakout work, Cobra, in 1978, revolutionized the space opera genre within manga. The series followed a suave, cigar-smoking outlaw with a cybernetic arm cannon, living wild adventures across the galaxy. With its James Bond-style protagonist, gorgeous heroines, surreal landscapes, and kinetic action, Cobra became a cultural phenomenon in Europe, particularly in France, where it gained cult status and influenced a generation of French artists. What truly set Terasawa apart, however, was his early and fearless embrace of computer graphics. At a time when manga was still firmly hand-drawn, he dared to use computers to render entire scenes. His 1992 project, Takaru, was one of the world's first full-color digital comics, rendered entirely on a Macintosh using CGI tools. This wasn't just novelty, it was pioneering. Terasawa was also known for creating powerful and stylized female characters, often mixing sensuality with strength. His aesthetic was sleek, chrome-colored, and undeniably cinematic, often resembling the visual language of 1980s sci-fi films and Western graphic novels. In 1998, he was diagnosed with a malignant brain tumor, but even in the face of illness, he remained prolific, working, innovating, and inspiring until his death in 2023. His resilience and commitment to the evolution of manga left an indelible legacy. Today, Terasawa is remembered not only as the creator of Cobra, but as a visionary who bridged manga and digital technology, East and West, paper and pixels. Three, two, one. Yoshihiro Takaya is a name synonymous with biomechanical madness and long-form storytelling. Born in Osaka in 1960, Takaya made his mark in the manga industry with Bio-Booster Armor Guyver, a series that fused superhero flair with grotesque body horror and conspiratorial sci-fi intrigue. Launched in 1985, Guyver quickly stood out among the crowded shonen landscape. Its story of a high school student who stumbles upon an alien unit that transforms him into a biomechanical warrior resonated with fans of both tokusatsu and dark science fiction. The concept, mixing organic armor, violent metamorphoses, and secret government projects, was ahead of its time and bore echoes of Kamen Rider, The Terminator, and Akira. What made Guyver endure wasn't just its action-packed battles or alien technologies. It was the oppressive atmosphere, mature tone, and methodical narrative that Takaya maintained over nearly 40 years. He introduced numerous transformations, new armors, and evolving enemies, expanding the mythos into a rich universe of zoonoids, Kronos Corporation agents, and rogue experiments gone wrong. Takaya was fiercely independent, often writing, drawing, and pacing the story without editorial pressure. As a result, Guyver went on multiple hiatuses, some lasting years, but every return was met with loyalty from its cult fan base. The manga's success led to anime adaptations and even 2 American live-action films, The Guyver, 1991, and Guyver Dark Hero, 1994, introducing his creation to a global audience. Despite never reaching mainstream status like Dragon Ball or Naruto, Guyver was a critical influence on the bio-horror and mecha-hybrid subgenres. Its designs and tone would echo through works like Parasite, Gantz, and even Evangelion. Yoshihiro Takaya's legacy lies in his commitment to telling his story, patiently, uncompromisingly, and with great creative autonomy. Guyver remains a cornerstone of dark sci-fi manga, and its creator a respected figure in niche but passionate circles. Three, two, one. Noboru Ishiguro was not just an anime director. He was a conductor of epic emotions, sweeping narratives, and star-strewn battles. Born in 1938 in Tokyo, Ishiguro became one of the most respected directors during anime's formative decades, shaping how space operas and sci-fi epics were told. After studying art and music, Ishiguro entered the animation world with a distinctive sensibility. His understanding of musical structure often informed his storytelling rhythms and scene transitions. Early in his career, he became involved in directing Space Battleship Yamato, 1974, a groundbreaking series that revolutionized anime by treating animation as a serious medium for adult storytelling. The show's mix of tragic heroism, national sacrifice, and galactic warfare resonated across generations. However, it was the Super Dimension Fortress Macross, 1982, that cemented his legend. A fusion of robot combat, alien invasion, pop idols, and love triangles, Macross, under Ishiguro's direction, became a cultural phenomenon and laid the groundwork for future franchises like Robotech and Macross Frontier. His touch brought emotional nuance and dynamic pacing, balancing spectacle with heartfelt drama. Perhaps his greatest legacy, though, is Legend of the Galactic Heroes. This ambitious OVA, based on Yoshiki Tanaka's novels, spanned 110 episodes and depicted a galaxy-spanning war filled with political intrigue, philosophical debates, and richly layered characters. Ishiguro helmed the project with elegance, managing a narrative that interwove multiple ideologies and historical allegories. The series is still revered by fans and scholars alike as a pinnacle of intellectual anime. Despite his deep involvement in complex works, Ishiguro remained humble and curious, directing projects well into his 70s. One of his last major works, Titania, was a spiritual successor to Galactic Heroes and a testament to his enduring vision. Noboru Ishiguro passed away in 2012, leaving behind a galaxy of influence. His works are not only anime milestones, they're studies in leadership, ideology, and the human condition set against the vastness of space. His legacy lives on in every serious sci-fi anime that dares to dream big. Three, two, one. Mamoru Nagano is often considered one of the most enigmatic and visionary figures in Japanese science fiction. With a career that bridges manga, animation, mecha design, and even fashion, he embodies a rare kind of multidisciplinary creativity. Born in Kyoto in 1960, Nagano first gained recognition for his mechanical designs in Heavy Metal L Game and Zeta Gundam, where his mechas stood out for their intricate elegance and distinct personalities. But it was with the 5-star stories that Nagano forged his legacy. Debuting in 1986, this manga became a monumental saga, not just for its length, but for the scope of its storytelling. Set in the far-future Joker star cluster, the story spans centuries of political intrigue, intergalactic warfare, dynastic conflict, and philosophical reflection. What makes it stand apart is not only the complexity of its narrative, but the refinement of its visual world, one where architecture, costume design, and machine aesthetics are given the same narrative weight as characters and plot. Nagano's mortar heads, towering ornate mechas piloted by genetically engineered warriors called Fatamas, redefine the genre. These designs were unlike anything seen in mainstream mecha. They looked less like weapons of war and more like moving sculptures, blending medieval armor with Baroque ornamentation. This fusion of technology and fashion reflects Nagano's obsession with detail and balance, turning every page of his manga into a gallery of visual storytelling. In 1989, he directed the animated adaptation of the 5-star stories, insisting on creative control to ensure fidelity to his vision. Though only a small portion of the massive storyline was adapted, the film remains a cult classic for its visual ambition and atmospheric tone. Despite his fame, Nagano avoids the spotlight. He rarely gives interviews and often disappears from public view for years, returning with new chapters of his ongoing epic. His fans admire not only his art, but his commitment to integrity and creative freedom. qualities that have made the five-star stories a timeless work of art in the manga landscape. Mamoru Nagano is not just a manga artist. He is a world builder, a philosopher, and a futurist whose influence can be felt in both Japanese pop culture and high-concept science fiction worldwide. Three, two, one. Yuji Moriyama is a name closely associated with the vibrant and experimental animation scene of the 1980s and 1990s in Japan. Born in Tokyo in 1959, Moriyama entered the anime industry during a period of dynamic change where OVAs, original video animations, and television anime were exploring bold new artistic directions. He first gained prominence for his role as character designer and animation director on Urusei Yatsura, one of Rumiko Takahashi's most iconic works. His ability to bring exaggerated expressions, comedic timing, and visual fluidity to the characters contributed greatly to the show's enduring popularity. His designs gave life to characters like Loam, blending cuteness with a chaotic energy that matched the series' slapstick humor. Moriyama's directorial debut came with Project Echo, a legendary 1986 OVA that became a cult hit. The film was a manic genre-bending parody that mashed up superhero, schoolgirl, mecha, and science fiction tropes. Moriyama infused it with high-energy action, breakneck pacing, and cheeky humor, making it a standout in the OVA boom era. The film's animation quality, despite its satirical tone, showcased his serious craftsmanship. Aside from mainstream hits, Moriyama also worked on more adult-oriented material, such as entries in the Cream Lemon series, which explored erotic themes within high-quality animation. These works, while niche, demonstrated his versatility and comfort with pushing creative boundaries in both genre and format. Throughout his career, Moriyama maintained a distinct 80s-style aesthetic: big eyes, dynamic poses, and exaggerated expressions, making his work immediately recognizable. He served as an animation director and character designer on numerous projects, often stepping into directorial roles that allowed him to showcase his storytelling instincts. Today, Moriyama is remembered as one of the defining creative voices of a golden era of anime. His contributions helped shape the look and feel of anime comedy, action, and fan service for decades, leaving a legacy of bold visual flair and irreverent humor. Congratulations! How many creators did you recognize? Are you truly an anime mastermind? Share your score in the comments and challenge your friends to beat it. Thanks for watching. Go on, enjoy the other videos on the channel.